I used to think as long as I didn't click on anything malicious, I was safe. But I was wrong. That random pop up you came across that one time, it came from a user comment. One innocent line of text did that. And it can potentially affect you and any other user that comes across that content for a very long time. Today, we're looking at my absolute favorite vulnerability, cross site scripting, or XSS for short. Specifically, in this video, we're going to explore something called stored cross site scripting, or stored XSS. There are other types of cross site scripting, like reflected and DOM based, and I'll have videos for those linked in the description as soon as I have them released. But before we get into that, first, a disclaimer. Everything that I show in this video is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you do decide that you want to try this, please only try it on a machine or a platform that you personally own or have explicit permission to do so. Let's say you're online, like Reddit, and you've noticed that the most anticipated game of all time has been delayed again, and you want to see what people are saying about it. Well, you want to start scrolling through the comments, but before you know it, all of a sudden, bam, you get a random pop up. Well, most people will just go here and click away and not really think anything else of it. But that's not always the best thing to do. As soon as you see that pop up, there's a wide variety of things that could have already happened before you even noticed it. And worst of all, you didn't have to interact with anything. You were just reading a web page that you're always on. And before we go on, no. To my knowledge, Reddit is not vulnerable to cross-site scripting. What you saw was just a quick little browser trick that I used for demonstration purposes. But let's go ahead and take a look at how things like that can happen. We'll start off with a really quick and simple demonstration. In this case, we're using Damn Vulnerable Web App once again, or DVWA. This is a platform that is built specifically with the idea of letting ethical hackers test out skills. So yes, everything I'm doing on here is perfectly legal and safe. In this case, we're looking at their stored cross-site scripting section, which gives us a field to put in a name and a message. And once you put in the name and the message, test, and you sign it, you get a post right down here with a name that says test and a message that says test. But what happens if we abuse the logic of the website? What can we get done? Well, let's find out. Let's go up here and put in our name. And for the message, we'll use a payload instead of an actual message, and we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and get that written. Script, alert, and then we'll just do something simple like XSS, just for demonstration purposes. And we'll end that script tag, and then we're good to go. Now, when I hit on sign guestbook, it puts it in, and I get that same kind of prompt. And because that message will stay there, even if I were to leave the page and then come back to it, it pops up again. That's the exact reason why it's called a stored XSS, because your payload is stored within the content of the website itself. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's great. They can display a message on my screen. Who cares? But there's a lot more that they can do. And I'll show you just one of those extra things here now. So let's go ahead and get started with clearing out the guestbook. And then I'll try to show you something with a little bit more impact. Let's once again put in a name. And then we're going to change up the payload a little bit. So we'll go ahead and pop on in here and do another script tag. And we'll do alert again. Just so that you're aware, alert is the function within JavaScript that pops up that little dialog box that you've been seeing before. So just know that there's a multitude of other functions that can be used to do a lot of different things. This is just for demonstration purposes so you can see what's happening. But we'll continue. So let's go ahead and say we wanted to find the cookies that the user was using. Well, we can do document.cookie and then close that out and then close out the script tag. And once again, hit on submit. And all of a sudden, we get all the cookies, including this dummy cookie right here that I put in. As I'd mentioned, you can replace that alert function with anything you want to. Unfortunately, this website is a little bit restricted in terms of how much it is that I can actually type in that field. But you can do things like exfiltrate entire cookies. And as I'd mentioned, because that's stored in there, as soon as I pop back in to that page, I'll go over here to a different one, pop back into stored, and it displays that every single time. there's a lot of other ways that they can use JavaScript to actually take that information and instead of displaying it to you, have it sent to themselves. And the impacts of that can be huge. If you have any saved cookies that are still valid from, let's say, social media platforms or banking apps, all of a sudden the attacker has those cookies and they can use that to sign in as you and do whatever they want. Now, obviously, there's ways to mitigate the risk of this a lot of the time, but you never know what websites are going to be vulnerable to this. So always keep an eye out and be careful when you're browsing. But now that you know how easily this can be done and what types of effects it can have, be really careful while you're browsing and never trust a pop up. If you learned something from this video and you like demos like these, please consider subscribing and giving the video a like. Comment down below if you've ever had any experiences like this, or if you have any questions. Also, let me know what kinds of videos you'd like to see in the future, especially since you guys are here early on the channel. Your input is a lot of what's driving the channel forward. So now is the time to have the biggest impact you possibly can. Besides that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.